My name is Jim, and I'm giving an update on the progression of the hives or the swarm. So um, out of all these boxes that I had one over there and still one there. I had one, I guess I got one there. I had one in the front. Out of all the beehive baited nukes that I had out, they selected the same box in the same tree, angled the same way. That was last year. Something about that peach tree, something about that box, right? It's, if we can find that magic box that seems to catch more bees than any of the other ones, or maybe none of the other ones do. So far, that's the only one that's caught a swarm or swarms. Then try to make something, try to make one like it. You know, it's about also important to have some bee smell in there, melt some honeycomb or something, or smear a bunch of lemongrass oil in there, and that's what I did. And and that beehive that they swarmed into, that's been occupied many times. I've used them to transfer bees and hold bees, and so it has some original bee smell in there. Maybe it's the urine and the feces. It's dissipated. We'll be all right in here. If it was safe for them, it's safe for us. Probably. Right? And so here's the swarm that I caught yesterday. Yeah, I think it was yesterday. So Queen's in there. This they're going on the third night they spent in. Oh, they're bringing in pollen already. Okay. The action is on. So yeah, they're in there fanning. And so I did a split also around the first of this month, April 2026. And so I took that American honey beehive there box and took it from there, hoping that the queen was either on it or there was some, larvae in there, some eggs. Put it over here. It's been there for about 2 weeks now, and looks okay. Time will tell, right? Time tells it all, doesn't it? Yeah. And so, pretty active. Now, once that they went into that box up there, all the activity and all the other baited nukes went dead. It wasn't the same days they swarmed in. In fact, they swarmed in there around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which is unusual. That's kind of late before it gets dark. And when I knew that she was in there, there was a bunch of bees that kept congregating on a certain spot on the wood, which is probably where the queen landed. She left some of her pheromones, and so there's like a bunch of bees balling around this one spot. And I was looking, and I didn't see there was no queen. So that's probably where she initially landed and left some of her pheromones. And so that was another clue to me that there's probably a queen in there at that time. And so since the 1st of April, 2026, I've gone from one hive surviving the winter to now have 3. And so it's still in the peak of swarming season. So if I would have tried to do this 5 years ago, I wouldn't have caught any bees, no swarms, because there wasn't any bees in our area. And they've probably been killed by pesticides or something, right? And so there was 0 bees. I wouldn't see any bees here in my neighborhood until around the 1st of July every year, which is pollen. That's because they're getting more desperate from their areas, and they're looking more areas, flying further from their hive, so they make it to my property. And so now there's bees everywhere, and so I don't have a problem with catching swarms now. Before I couldn't catch a swarm. I tried several years in a row, nothing. And then all of a sudden, Here they come. You know, maybe they're out in the woods. I got a forest back here, some big, huge trees. I always heard woodpeckers. Maybe there's some back in there somewhere. Uh, maybe you got some neighbors now that have some. Um, and so now there's enough drones to make my queens. When I first started, I didn't even attempt to try to make queens. I didn't feel there was any drones in my area to do that. And so I bought I probably bought a total of 4 queens. But now I don't have to. There's enough bees and drones of from different hives that they'll breed, and so now I can go ahead and start my apiary with a sense of security that now I have that diversity, genetic diversity a little bit, because they don't like the mother doesn't like the bees don't like to breed with their siblings, and so I don't know if they can tell that or not. It's like, how would you know? There's a camera crew. Let's see where this one goes. Is it going to breed with its sister and dot it? Yeah, I never know. Yeah, so next Sunday I'll be taking that down and adding. Uh, I'll be putting that in another hive over here and adding some frames. So they're really active in there, building out those frames I got in there for the queen to lay eggs. And so there's going to be bees that are going to be looking now. If they're going to be looking for hives probably until July, splitting. That's what they do in nature. And so it's important to leave. If you want to catch a hive, it's important to monitor that hive daily. Make sure there's no bugs and stuff in it. Make sure it's clean. Best to do it early in the morning before the bees are out and about. Put some fresh lemongrass oil in there. You just gotta stick with that. That's what I did, and it paid off. When I first tried to catch a swarm, I would put that lemongrass oil in there and walk away thinking, that's good. No, months went by and nothing. But then when I kept putting the lemongrass oil in there last year, it happened quick. Fresh lemongrass every day. Take that Q-tip that's out in front, dip it a little bit, put it around the entryway, put the stick right in front of the hive, and it paid off. And so there you go. From 1 hive to 3. Now I tried to do I was going to make a bunch of queen cells, but those bees in the original hive here had built that comb on those frames and sealed all those frames so tight together, I would have ended up destroying that hive to try to take them out. I would have killed thousands of larvae, and because I was going to be dismantling the hive, the comb. When I noticed that, when I pulled up one spot, they all came up. I'm going, this is going to be a nightmare. So I left them, and I just took the box that I had on the top, and hoping that she had laid some eggs in that one the last couple of weeks, and hope that she was in there, and just set it down there. Hope, it's like you hope, you know? It's like that hope chest you got. She was in there, you know? And so far it looks pretty good. All 3 hives are really active, and they look healthy. And I'm removing varroa mites every day. I'm not sure what to do about the varroa mites. I know they're going to take out my hive if I don't control them somehow. Could use oxalic acid or strips. I put some strips underneath the cloth screen today in one of them to see if I see an increase in mite drop. Because the last time I used some strips, it killed the hive. I followed the directions perfectly. Put one line here, and walk away. No, they killed them. Maybe the concentration on those particular strips was too high. It was one of those Chinese things. And so I'm cautious about using strips. I mean, when you only have 1 hive, you gotta be careful, right? Just, you know, do the powdered sugar shakes and have an 1/8 inch hardware cloth underneath, so those varroa mites that come out of their cells, they start to walk around, they get knocked off, and they fall through that hardware cloth onto my observational panel. They ain't getting back in. So they can try to crawl back in, but as they try to crawl back in, they'll have to walk over that cloth, and then they'll fall right back down into the observational panel. So yeah, once I get about 6 hives, then I'll go ahead and like use the strips and oxalic acid and stuff like that. I don't know, it's just after that experience with killing my hive from using those strips, I became a little anxious about using pesticides and chemicals after that. You never really know what the concentration is. They say it's that, but maybe somebody added an extra bag. Wasn't paying attention, you know, with those little errors that occur now and then you get a bad batch. Kind of like those lettuces, you know, salmonella poisoning, got some sort of stuff on it, a bunch of people getting sick or dying. And so, yeah. All right, well, things are going good. So there is no more swarming, there is no more clusters of bees going into any more of the baited nukes. There's just like now and then there'll be like a straggler, but I think that's more of like a bee just looking for resources. You know, how they go and look for flowers, and you know, what to watch for is when you see a lot of bees clustering around the entryway. Those are scout groups, right? Those are groups of bees that are specifically looking for a hive. So that's when you want to go into overdrive and make sure that that box is clean of bugs every morning, freshly baited, you know, lemongrass. Maybe if you got some wax or some comb, put it in there somewhere, you know, and have some frames in there. Put some wax on your frames, you know, wax it up if you got wax. And the odds are really good if there's some bees in your area and it's springtime. Their natural instinct is to divide. That's how they repropriate. It's like giving birth. To divide the hive is the same as giving birth. That's the only way that bees can survive long term, is to divide. If that one hive dies, the queen dies, then there'll be no more bees in the world. If there was only one hive on planet Earth left, beehives, and that queen died, and they weren't able to make a queen cell, that species is gone forever. So it's important for them to divide as frequently as possible. Divide, divide, divide. Each one is like a birth and a new chance of the species survival, another chance. And so as they expand like that, then the chances go higher and higher that that species will survive. That's how they repropriate. It's not about just a queen laying eggs. It's about more queens coming out of that hive that go out and keep that genetic diversity out there. That was a weird color bee. It was like a really light tan. I get all kinds. These are mongrel bees. I got Cronola mixture where they're black. It's like their whole body is black, and they have white stripes along their back. And then I have the opposite, light tan and black stripes, and all kind of in between. Yeah, it's like a real good genetic mix-up of these bees. And okay, I just thought I'd drop a line. Another swarm caught. So I've caught 2 swarms in the last 11 months. And I'll keep you updated on what kind of process I'm going to be using to control these varroa mites. There's so many. And it's actually a good idea to use multiple different ones. The oxalic acid, maybe some strips. Try not to do the same thing every time, because those mice can develop an immunity kind of to one specific thing. But if you're throwing all these different things at them, it's far less likely. Kind of like taking the same antibiotics all the time. The viruses can get, and the bacteria can build up immunity. Antibiotics can't do anything about viruses, only bacteria. Okay, Please subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell, click the like. Have a good day. Bye now. Margarina.